Good guys, we're gonna make a video today about my predictions for the rankings of the West for next year, this year, and let's just get started. For eighth, I think Pelicans. They're gonna have a healthy Zion, and you know what happened when they had Zion last year? He was a beast. He could have won Rookie of the Year if he stayed more healthy, and that's just a fact. And then when Zion is healthy, Lonzo plays better. It's in the stat books. He plays way better when Zion is there. And they're gonna have another year together and of Ingram. Have you seen Ingram last year? He was a baller. He did everything for this team. He helped them reach almost the playoffs. And then Zion finally came back from that injury. They also added Bledsoe and George Hill. um, they actually, in my opinion, won that deal. It was straight up W for them because they Bucks overpaid for him, and I've said this many times. They've overpaid by way too much for him. So good deal that they got Bledsoe and Hill and 3 first-round picks. Credit to them. They also lost Drew Holiday, and they need more experience playing together a bit more. Um, and need to stay consistent. They got at least a better defender because in Bledsoe, because defense is still an issue even though they got Bledsoe. They need their defense to be great, and we'll just hope if they can be great. Alright, number 7, I got the Warriors. They lost Clay for the whole last season, for whole this season, and now that's gonna be messed up. And if they lose Clay, then Steph will look more hungry than ever. You know Steph, he's been working out crazy. There's been so much things about him. Let's just hope Steph could be good. Is he gonna win MVP? Comment down below. Cause it's him, Luka, in my opinion, or Giannis again. One of those three are winning MVP. And but the Warriors don't have that much depth. They've struggled last season with depth. Their bench was not that good, and they still don't have that much depth. Hopefully, these young players can develop better, but they are still in because they always have the warrior spirit. They always fight. Dub Nation never gives up. You can't count Warriors out like this. You can't just count them out. As long as they have Curry, they're still gonna be contenders, and that's a fact. They drafted James Wiseman, and he looks very good. And the problem is they don't have a second option. They're looking for a second option, and maybe there are two options I'm gonna talk about right now. So we have Wiggins or Oubre, in my opinion, or one of them. Wiggins last season averaged more points than Oubre and was more efficient, but Oubre was more efficient at 3-point shooting, and the Warriors love that. And Oubre is a better rebounder overall, and Wiggins better at playmaking. They both are pretty much equal at defense, but Wiggins is better. But Oubre plays more minutes and he averages less points. And thinking Oubre is coming back from a nasty knee injury, so is Wiggins a really good second option? It would have been Klay Thompson, but then now it can't. So comment down below. Do you think Wiggins is a great second option? Because I don't think that will win them a title or anything. It looks like a low chance either way. But adding James Wiseman helps them at least something. In college, he averaged 19 points, 10 rebounds, crazy numbers by this guy, 0.3 assists, and 77% from the field. 77% from the field. That's so efficient. That's insane. Just like how Zion's efficiency was in college, he was really efficient. He was efficient in the NBA. And Wiseman is really efficient and he can defend and he averages 3 blocks a game. So he has crazy numbers. Adding Wiseman is at least a huge plus for this team and it can help them in the future. Number 6, I'm gonna go with Portland. They have a prime Lillard. Have you seen the numbers he've put last year? He was just insane, bucket after bucket, buckets, buckets. Like he was just crazy, and that he wasn't only the whole roster. Like now they have a healthy roster back. Have you seen what they did in the playoffs? They're playing really good. Credit to this Portland team, and you gotta give them credit for this. Like it's tough. They made the playoffs when most people doubted them. Even I doubted them, and that's credit to Portland. They got Covington and Cantor. I don't think Cantor's gonna make that much of a difference, but getting Covington is a huge plus. He can shoot the three ball. He's insane at defense, and defense helps you win games or championships. And yeah, I like that move by them to get Covington. Great move in my opinion. They also have lots of depth. They have Nurkic, Gabriel, and last year I found him out when he played against Lakers. He played well. They have everyone literally, and they have huge size in Nurkic, Covington, Gabriel, not Canner, but then they also had Whiteside last year. Also, they had huge size. They were the only team pretty much, and Denver, I believe, would compete with Lakers in size. Those were the teams that would compete with size. And the more depth and size you have, the better your team is. They also have lots of good shooters, as in Dame, McCollum, Carmelo, etc. You know the point. And Melo, I believe he hasn't won a chip in his career, and I think he's motivated enough to win it this year because I've seen him working out so much clips of him, and he looks really motivated to help this Blazers team become the best team on the planet. And we'll just see how far they go, but in my opinion, they're gonna be sixth. But here's the thing. I don't think they're gonna make it far in the playoffs because is Melo a perfect third star? I know McCollum and Dame. Dame's the main option, McCollum's second option. But I just picked a random third option from the NBA and I picked shooter, right? He averages more points. He shoots more efficient than Melo. Melo better step up this year if they want to make it far. And but Melo averages more boards, which is expected because shooter's a guard. But Shooter gets more assists, pretty obvious, and then Melo just gets more steals and blocks. And Melo, in fact, actually plays 32.8 minutes a game, and Shooter plays 2 minutes less than him. So, is Melo a good third star? Comment down below. I don't think he will be, but he's still a decent third star, you know? But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But Melo better step it up this year if he wants this team to make a huge push and win him his title. Can they even make the finals? That would have been impressive, but I think the ceiling for this team is maybe making the second round at max. If they make more, pretty impressive by the team. And if they made it past that, it's cause Melo. But Melo will come off the bench this season. So at fifth, I think it's the Mavericks. What a team to watch last year. They were probably one of the most entertaining teams to watch, in my opinion. They have a young Luka Doncic. And Doncic is getting better from this point on. Look how young he is, bro. And he's putting up these numbers. He's just crazy good. Like, credit to Luka Doncic for helping this team make the playoffs last year. They were the seventh seed. And of course, why would they get worse from that point on? Obviously, they're going to get better with this young team. It's just so entertaining to watch Mavs games. And it's good to see Luka Doncic shine. And while his other competitor, Trey Youngs, might make the playoffs next year. Also, I might make a East video. So if you want that, please like and subscribe. But the Mavs also got Josh Richardson. And what a player Josh Richardson can be at sometimes. He can defend, and this Mav team needs a defense. It's just what they need to focus on. They also lost Seth Curry, which is kind of an L. He's a really good shooter, and credit to Seth Curry. And Seth Curry has been really good for the Mavs last year, so losing them is an L. but they will miss Porzingis in the first few games. The Mavericks, and that's an L, but they're still gonna make it far. And yeah, and the reason I'm so high on this team is just because they almost beat the Clippers last year. Also, this Clippers team almost lost in the first round to this Mavs team. It went to 6 games and it was a good series. Enjoyed it overall, but this team would have beat them if Clippers never injured or stuff. But the Clippers probably would have won either way. And this Mavs team gets another year of experience, and that matters a lot. So hopefully they could succeed and they'll have a good season. But let me just show you the stats of this man. Look at this. Doncic in the regular season averaged 28.8 points, 46% from the field, 31% from three, 9.4 boards, 8.8 assists, 1 steal, and 0.2 blocks. But if you look at the playoffs, this man's a different player, bro. He has literally the same stats, but way better. Some concern is that his 3-point shooting sometimes is streaky, but hopefully he can fix that. But look at the playoffs. 31 points, way better than the 28 points. 50% from the field, credit to that. 36% from 3-point line. Made a mistake, I'm gonna edit that. 9.8 boards a game, more than his 9.4 boards. But he did get only zero point 0.1 more assists. Whatever, the point. He's better. Like, more assists, not more assists, more steals and more blocks. He's just a better player overall in the playoffs. And I actually doubted him. I never thought he would be this good in the playoffs. So, will he be the same this year? That's what influenced my decision a bit more. He plays better when the big moments come, and that's what makes a superstar. And hopefully he can stay consistent, or else he's gonna look scary, bro. At fourth, I think it'll be the Houston Rockets. They have, first of all, their positives are they have lots of shooters, and you need shooters to, you need shooters. Last year the only shooter wasn't Westbrook. That's why they traded Capella so that he can use the paint. But then he started taking threes in the playoffs, and then everything went down. For Westbrook's excuse, I do feel bad. He got COVID and the injury before the bubble, so we can't just be too harsh on him, but that's, at least they have more shooters. They got Boogie, Wood, and John Wall. That's a huge upgrade over last season. Boogie can stretch the floor, Wood can stretch the floor, and John Wall, I've seen workouts of him having a better form, and hopefully he can be better. But they traded Westbrook, and I think this is kind of an L, and I think Washington win the trade just because Westbrook, I think he's better than Wall. Wall came back from an injury, and he hasn't played in 2 years, so trading, yes, they needed to trade Westbrook. This is kind of an L and a win. They needed to trade Westbrook. It wasn't gonna fit. But if they don't win a title this year, this is a Harden issue. They paired Harden with Dwight Howard. It didn't work. Harden with Chris Paul. It didn't work. Harden with Westbrook. It didn't work. You see the issue? Harden's been with them all, but it hasn't been working, and that's probably why the Nets aren't getting him. They don't think he'll fit together with the team, even though they have enough drama, enough. But Harden hasn't won anything with these two stars, with the stars that Daryl Morey bring him, and now they have a new front office and a new coach. And I don't think the coach will help them go that far, but I think they will still secure up the fourth seed. I've heard people rank Rockets literally missing the playoffs. I don't. If you have Harden on your team, you're not missing the playoffs. But they're a regular season team. They aren't a playoff team. I don't think they'll make it that far in the playoffs. But credit to them, they have good depth, and that's what matters in this league also. But let me just break down this. Basically, the Rockets got John Wall, and the Wizards got Russell Westbrook, and the Rockets also got a first round pick. The thing is, it's kind of a win and an L for Rockets. They lost to Westbrook. He's good, but he doesn't fit them. But then they got someone back. But then here's the thing: losing Westbrook is kind of an L. But then, like, it's his all-time low value. No team literally won him, so at least they got something. And they got John Wall, but they're just pretty much betting at this point that he's gonna be back to the former John Wall. And that's just the thing, bro. I don't think he'll be the same John Wall again. And but then they did get that first round pick, so that's at least good. But the Wizards clearly won this. It just depends on John Wall, and hopefully he'll convince Harden to stay, or else it's just a complete L. But speaking of Westbrook, let's just talk about his playoffs. Westbrook in the regular season had averaged 27 points, high field goal percentage, something rare about Westbrook. He got a high field goal percentage, 47%, and then just like the usual 3-point percentage, doesn't matter, 7.9 boards, 7 assists, 1.6 steals, 0.4 blocks. But in the playoffs, he had literally got the same sets, but way worse. He struggled in the playoffs, but for his excuse, it was because he had COVID and he had a hip injury or something, or a quad injury. But just feels bad. He just had a terrible playoffs all around, and I just feel bad for him overall. But hopefully he can be back to that same Westbrook and play for Washington. He's gonna have to play with Bradley Beal, but hopefully it'll be a good experience for him. At third, I believe, I picked the Denver Nuggets. I believe they'll stay like last year. They made the conference finals last year. That might have given them lots of experience, and that gives them lots of hope. They have a prime Jamal Murray right now. He's playing like crazy in the playoffs, playing way better. Jokic is in better shape, or pretty much the best shape in his career. That's gonna be some crucial things. They need some depth though. Last season they got COVID, and lots of players didn't turn up to the bubble. They literally had like at one point like 8 people, 3 people off the bench. It was just terrible. And because of Jamal Murray's golf thing in the bubble, he was also injured a bit. Like players are injured, and that's just bad. They need more veterans. This is a very young team, but at least they kept not Jamal, Paul Millsap, and that helped him a lot. Paul Millsap will just made $10 million 1 year contract, so good to see him stay with them because every team literally wanted them, and he's a really good player. Even though he struggled a bit in the playoffs, he can play well. But the L is that they lost Jeremy Grant, and that's a huge L. Jeremy Grant literally had his best season last year, and he even said in an interview he felt like it was his best basketball, it was his best development in the Nuggets, but they lost him. They lost him to the Pistons, but let's just talk about Jamal Murray, playoff Murray. He was so good last year, and if it stays like this, they might make a deep push again because in the playoffs he averaged 26.5 points, 50% from the field, 50%. That's crazy. 45% from three. Yep, those are just insane efficiencies while averaging 26 points in the playoffs, 4.8 boards, 6.6 assists, 0.9 steals, and 0.3 blocks. So you see, he's way better in the playoffs than he was in the regular season. Credit to him. He played really well in the playoffs. Big baller right there. But the Clippers got Ibaka and Kennard, and I think they'll be second. And might be like, yeah, they got Ibaka, and what about Kennard and stuff? Like, I'll explain that later. Another year of chemistry. The main thing about Clippers, how they failed last year, was their chemistry. Like their chemistry was really bad. Lou was out, like Harrell was out. Even throughout the season, and once they got together, once they're fully healthy, then the pandemic came, and it was just a horrible timing. They had gained momentum. They were like in a winning streak. They had everyone back, and they were on fire. But hopefully, Paul George can take this break and think about himself, and hopefully play better and can get more momentum. but this team does have the best depth in the league, and that's a fact. They already did last year, and adding Ibaka and Kennard is even better. They did lose Shamit, but that's not that much of a worry. And they still have Kawhi Leonard. He didn't leave, so that's good. But he'll be a free agent next summer. He's more likely going to leave if they lose. But he did choke a bit in the game against Denver in Game 7 and Paul George. But Paul George choked the whole series. But the thing is, they fired Doc, and I don't understand it. Yes, he did play Harold too much minutes, but it's Doc. Like, why not keep him? He has more experience. But Ty Lue is also a great replacement. And let's just see how Ty Lue will take care of this Clippers team that has lots of drama. But speaking of Kennard and Ibaka, like I was talking about, these two players are huge ballers, and adding more depth to the best team in the league with depth with Kawhi, Paul George, Markieff, Lou. They lost Harold, but who cares? They got Ibaka, even better. So Kennard averaged 15.8 points, 44% from field, and a crazy 40% from three, 3.5 boards, 4 assists, and then the rest. And then he played 32 minutes a game and put up these stats. Not bad. Ibaka, even more impressive, has 15 points just like him, more efficient, almost 40% from three. More than league average though, Ibaka. 8 boards, 1.4 assists, and he steals 0.5 and blocks 0.8. And he did this in 5 less minutes than Kennard. So these two will add huge things to the Clippers, and it'll be crucial for them to get these guys. But obviously, I think the Lakers would be grab the first seed. Last season, they didn't even have that much depth, and guess what? They won the title. They didn't even need depth. All their depth was literally AD and Braun. And now that they have them plus two more candidates of Six Mans of the Year, Shooter and Hero, it's just looking like a upward future for this team. They did lose Rondo, but Shooter is perfect in every way to replace him. They still have Braun. They still have AD. AD will stay 5 years with the team. That's good. He signed a 5-year, 190 contract, 190 mil. They got rid of dead weight and some bad contracts like Danny Green. He made like 15 million a year. That was just not how much he was worth. Sorry, Danny, but that's not how much he's worth. They lost Rondo, but it doesn't matter. They just got Shooter. But Rondo's defense might be missed. Who cares? All this Lakers team needed was offense. And guess who they got? Offensive players. Braun averaged 25 points. AD averaged 26. And then they just new additions to add offensive scoring because their defense is perfect. Harrell averaged 18.6 points and Shooter averaged 18.9. Great bench players to pick up for this team, and that's great for them. But that wraps up my video. If you want an Eastern Conference version, comment down below and I'll make one soon. But this took like lots of time, so please like and subscribe. Have a good day, and NBA Talk out.